Hello, I am Miss Ann, and welcome back to Speedy Science. Each week in this program, we do a fast and fun science activity that you can fit into your busy schedule. This is the last week of the programming session, so I want to thank you for joining us for the entire session. If you have any questions about upcoming programs, please contact us at the Youth Services Reference Desk, and we'll be happy to assist you. For today's activity, we are going to be doing a cleaning pennies science experiment. For this activity, you will need vinegar, some paper towels, a plastic cup with a matching lid. It's very important that this is made out of plastic and not metal. A plastic spoon. Again, it's very important that this is made out of plastic and is not metal. Some pennies. And you want to make sure they are pennies that are visibly dirty. Some salt, and a paper and a pencil to write down your results. First, we are going to make our cleaning solution. So start by taking some vinegar and pouring it into your plastic cup. Then, you're going to go ahead and mix in your salt until all of the salt is dissolved. Dissolved is when you cannot see the salt particles anywhere. It can take a while to mix, but that's okay. Remember, you want to keep mixing until you no longer see the salt. There, that should be good. Then you're going to go ahead and take 3 of your pennies that are dirty and put them inside the cup. But do not put the lid on the cup. Then you're going to want to go ahead and take them in there for 30 seconds. For this step, I recommend you use a timer. I'm going to use this timer on my phone, but you can go ahead and set whatever timer you want. And there's our timer. So now I'm going to go ahead and gently remove all of my pennies and rinse them off in fresh water. It's very important that you do the last step of rinsing them off. And then I'm going to dry them off with a paper towel. And now look and see how bright and clean my pennies are. See how bright and shiny that is? Now we have a basic understanding of what happens when the solution meets the copper. So now that we have that basic understanding, we're going to use it to do an experiment. The first thing we're going to do is to take a piece of paper towel and fold it so it fits inside our cup. You can also use one of those round cotton pads if that's easier. Go ahead and place it in here, and we're going to allow it to soak up as much of the solution as possible until it is dripping wet. So you can go ahead and wait for about a while it's soaking up. That's good. Do you see how it's dripping out the solution? Then go ahead and take the rest of your solution and gently dump it down the drain. And put your soaking wet paper towel back inside the cup. Now, go ahead and take one of your pennies, put it on that paper towel, and close the lid. You want to make sure that the lid is sealed so that your paper towel does not dry out. Then, set your timer for 1 hour. It's been 1 hour, so now I'm going to go ahead and check on my penny. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the lid and take out the penny and look at it. Here's what the penny looks like. Now I'm going to go ahead and write down my observations. So the time is 1 hour, and the look is some greenish spots. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my penny back in the cup and close the lid again. This time I'm going to set my timer for 2 hours and come back and see what it looks like in 2 hours. It's been 2 hours. Now I'm going to check on my penny again. So again, I'm going to go ahead, open up the lid, look at my penny, and this is what it looks like. So now I'm going to write down the results. The time is 2 hours, and now there's about 1/4 of the penny is covered in green. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the next step. So I'm going to put my penny back in the cup and close the lid. Now I'm going to set my timer for 3 hours and see what happens then. It's been 3 hours. Now I'm going to check my penny again. So I'm going to open up my lid, take out my penny, and this is what I see now. Now I see that about half of the penny is covered in green. So I'm going to write that down. My time was 3 hours, and it was about 1/2 covered in green. So again, I'm going to go ahead and close my penny inside the cup, put my lid back on, and now I'm going to leave the penny in this cup overnight. So make sure you put it in a place where it won't accidentally be opened or accidentally thrown out. Then check back tomorrow morning and see what happens. Good morning! It's now the next day, so let's see what happened to our penny now. I'm going to take it out and open up the lid. And wow! This is what I see now. Almost the entire surface of the penny is covered with green. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. My time is overnight. And my result is entirely green. And there you have it. Isn't that cool to see how the penny changed? Now that we saw what happened, let's talk about why. Our penny changed because the outside of pennies are copper. Copper is a kind of metal that reacts strongly to salt and vinegar mixtures, which is what makes it change. This is why in New York City, the Statue of Liberty looks green. The Statue of Liberty was actually a bronze copper statue, but over the time, the rain and acid in the rain made it change to look green. One cool thing you can do is to take the penny that was sitting in the cup all night, rinse it off with fresh water, and wipe it with a paper towel, and see what happens to your penny. Be sure to email us pictures of your pennies as well as your results to the Alsop Library's Youth Services email address. I can't wait to hear from you. Bye! Hello, I am Miss Ann, and welcome to this week's bonus activity. In today's video, we used vinegar and salt to make pennies change overnight. Another way you can do this activity is to figure out how much salt impacts your solution rather than go by time. To do the experiment this way, make different versions of your solution. Each time, use the same amount of vinegar, but change the amount of salt. The first time, use just a little salt. The second time, use a medium amount of salt. And the third time, use a large amount of salt. Then, do the experiment the same way on each penny. Soak a paper towel in the mixture, dump the rest out in the drain, and leave the penny in the cup with the lid on top for 1 hour. Do you get the same results for each penny, Or does the amount of salt change your results? Be sure to email us and let us know. I can't wait to hear from you. Bye!
Hello everyone, I am Miss Ann, and welcome to Amazing Books You'll Love to Read. In this segment, we're going to talk about some amazing books you can get from the Alsop Merrimack Park Public Library's Youth Services Department. Because today's video was about cleaning pennies, today's books are all about money. To get books from the department, you can either come into the building and physically come downstairs and take the books off the shelf, or you can place a hold on them online or over the phone for curbside pickup or home delivery. Please contact the Youth Services Department for more information. Our first book today is Bunny Money by Rosemary Wells. In this book, Max and Ruby are going to the mall to buy their grandma's birthday present. They have $10 to spend. But it's very hard to focus and just spend money on grandma's birthday present when there are so many cool things in the mall. This is a really cool story because you can track the amount of money that they spend with pictures and help count to see if Max and Ruby will have enough money for their grandma's birthday present. Do you think they will? Find out in Bunny Money by Rosemary Wells. Our next book is Pretty Penny Comes Up Short by Devon Nitch. In this book, Penny and her pet pig Iggy decide they want to raise money for the local animal farm. Penny comes up with the idea to make a movie theater and sell tickets and snacks to raise money. But when Iggy becomes tempted to keep the money that doesn't belong to him, will they still have enough money to donate to the animal farm? Find out in Pretty Penny Comes Up Short by Devon Nitch. Our next book is Mr. Chicky's Funny Money by Christopher Paul Curse. In this story, Stephen and Russell and their dog Zoopy are Flink's future detectives, a detective agency. When local neighbor Mr. Chicky gives them what appears to be a real bill worth $1 quadrillion, suddenly their case gets far bigger than they ever imagined, and the government even gets involved. Can they outwit those secret agents and find out what's really happening with Mr. Chicky's funny money? Find out in this book by Christopher Paul Curse. Our last book is Money by Joe Cribb from the Eyewitness Books line. This book goes over the history of money from ancient times to today. It goes over all different kinds of money from different nations, as well as how people have made fake money to try to get away with stealing. This is a really interesting book with really great photographs, so I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for joining us today for this week of Speedy Science. Remember, these are just a few of the many books our library has about money. So if you need help finding these or any other books, please contact us at the Youth Services Reference Desk and we will be happy to assist you. I can't wait to hear from you. Bye!